Good morning, everybody. Matt Modi here to give you my favorite NBA player prop picks today. We're talking the Saturday NBA betting slate, January 11th. The Splash Zone is back in your life with 5 NBA player prop picks for you guys to lock in. And I am climbing 2 ladders as well. So for those of you that like to climb the ladders with me, I'm going to have 2 of those for you guys to lock in. For those of you that don't, I'm going to have 5 just normal plays for you guys to lock in as well. And then the 2 ladders. To do a recap real quick, I feel pretty good about saying the Splash Zone is back because we've had a really nice run the last couple days. That continued yesterday. I gave out 6 player props. We got 4 of those 6 to cash. Thank you to Vooch and his first quarter point prop. Thank you to Josh Hart and Jason Tatum for getting 10 or more boards. And thank you to Kristaps Porzingis for scoring 20 or more points. Unfortunately, the plays we lost, Malik Monk over his rebounds prop. I had De'Aaron Fox initially. He got ruled out, so I pivoted to Malik Monk. Sabonis took every rebound in the game. Not my fault. So Sabonis took like 28 rebounds in that game. Monk ended with 3. That was tough. And then the Bub Carrington assist prop never really had a chance. He had 3 in the first half. I don't think he had any in the second half. So those 2 lost. But we'll gladly take a 4 and 2 day when the majority of those plays were plus money bangers as well. On the season, that now brings our profit up over 8 units. Starting to string together some good stretches, right? We're up in the month of January. We were up in the month of December. So I'm pretty pleased with how things are going. Let's hope we can continue that tonight. Reminder to like the video, reminder to comment, reminder to subscribe as well. Normally I have a comment that I want you guys to put, or something that I want you to put in the comments based on a question that I ask. I didn't think of one before the video, so we're going to go ahead and skip that today. Just get right into the bangers. I'm going to start off with my first play, obviously looking at Props Madness here. If you like what you see when I'm going through Props Madness, I put a link in the description of the video. And if you do want to sign up, it would help me out a ton if you use my promo code. If not, no worries. The play that I have in this one is Jalen Green, and I actually took him 25 plus points. So if you wanted to take his mainline play, looks like the best offered price here is at Bet365 at minus 115. If you don't use Bet365, looks like you can get minus 120 at BetMGM. And then minus 125 pretty much at the other sports books where you would want to bet this. But I only took him for 25 plus points. So that's what we're looking at here. Not a single time this year has he scored between 23 and 20. Has he scored 23 or 24 points, right? Like if we look at his hit rate for over 22 and a half, it's 9 of 24 games. If we look at it for over 24 and a half, it's the same thing, 9 of 24 games. Now, people are going to see this and say, why are you betting someone to score 4 points over their average? There are a couple reasons why. Number one, no Jabari Smith Jr. He's been out for the last couple games. It's been 4 games. And look at what Jalen Green has done in these 4 games. He's gone 25 plus points in 4 out of 4 games, averaging 29 points per game. The fewest points that he has scored in a game is 27. We see 27, 33, 29, and 27. So he's been performing very, very well without Jabari Smith Jr. in the lineup. And there's nothing really that scares me off looking into the numbers, right? It's all about how many times he's shooting. 11 of 21, 4 of 8 from deep. 50% from deep is not something we can count on, obviously, game over game. But 8 shots from deep, 21 field goal attempts is good. Against the Wizards, 15 3-pointers, 22 shots from the field. That's good. Against the Lakers, 12 3-point attempts, 24 shots from the field. And against the Celtics, 13 3-point attempts, 21 attempts from the field. So as we can see, he's putting up 20 plus field goal attempts in all of these games. So if we just look at the data and say, okay, let's look at the field goals, or let's look at the games in which he's taken 20 field goal attempts, which he's done in literally all 4 of the last games. He scored 25 points 60% of the time, and he's averaging 27.5 points per game. So if we can figure that he's going to continue to shoot 20 plus shots per game, which is what he's been doing with Jabari Smith Jr. out of the lineup, then it makes a lot of sense why the 25 plus number is what we're going with, right? That's kind of my logic. And I haven't even talked about how good the matchup is yet, which is phenomenal against the Atlanta Hawks. That's why this is a play. Jalen Green scores the majority of his points as the pick and roll ball handler. The Hawks give up the 3rd most points per game to pick and roll ball handlers. After that, scores the 2nd majority of his points via transition. The Hawks allow the 10th most points per game via transition. The next 2 play types, getting to the free throw line via spot up, the Hawks are below average, right? 18th is not good. It's closer to bad than good, but it's closer to average than anything. And then dribble handoffs, which is only 2 points per game, 8% of his points, they're 21st. So like the top 5 play types in the top 50 percentile, the Hawks are a bottom 10 defense to a bottom half defense. So there's really no hiding the way in which Jalen Green scores. And we've seen him go on these types of heaters with players out of the lineup last year. If we look at last year, he had a stretch where he went like, 8 straight games scoring 25 or more points. These were games when Şengün missed, and then he just went on an absolute heater. Yeah, and then he cooled off after that. But we've seen him go on these runs where when he catches fire, he really catches fire. And that's exactly what he's been doing in this one. Another reason why to like Jalen Green, he takes 40% of his shots from the above the break three-pointer. The Hawks literally allow the most points per game. Number 1 in terms of above the break three-pointers. And the majority of these come from pull-ups. I dug into the data a little bit. The Hawks are one of the worst defenses guarding pull-up shots, which is obviously correlated with pick and roll ball handlers, right? Like if you give up a lot of points to the pick and roll ball handler, you probably also give up a lot of points via the pull-up. And Jalen Green scores the most points as the pick and roll ball handler and takes the most pull-up three-point attempts on the Hawks. So nothing scary from that matchup. And if we look at the games, not even filter it by field goal attempts, where he's played teams that are bottom 10 guarding the pick and roll and guarding the above the break three-pointer, we see that he scored 25 points. It's only 2 of 3 games, so that part doesn't look that great. But the ones that he missed at the beginning of the year, and he still took 21 shots, right? If he's getting 20 shots, that's good. 21 here, only 17 here, and then the weird game here against the Bulls where he only took 9 attempts. That one's an outlier. We can really count that out. But 2 of 5 games doesn't sound amazing, but again, the 2 most recent ones were good. And it's all about the matchup, and it's all about the fact that Jabari Smith Jr. is out of the lineup, which again, 4 straight games, 20-plus shot attempts in all 4. So Jalen Green, 25-plus points, plus 135 odds at bet 365 is my first play of the game. Next up, we're going to head to this Suns versus Jazz game. And I actually have 2 bets in this one. The first one is Devin Booker, but I actually have his assist prop. Now, normally, I hate betting on situations, kind of like the Jalen Green one, where the player has hit it in 5 straight games. It's going to seem really square because people are going to see a 5-0 hit rate and really want to bet it. To me, a lot of the advanced metrics make sense, and I'm comfortable betting even when we consider how hot he has been. And there are a tangible difference in what has happened with the Suns, which is what we can attribute the increase in assists. Number 1, they're not really playing Jusuf Nurkic anymore. He got in the fight, threw a punch. He's been suspended. That's also led to, they've also moved Bradley Beal to the bench. So those 2 things have happened recently, which is what has led to this increase in assists for Devin Booker. And there's nothing about his potential assists that scares me off. If we look at these last couple games, 21 potential assists. That's great. This one is a weird stat, 10 assists on 8 potential assists. I'm not honestly sure what happened there. Just a weird data thing. But 19 potential assists. 11 potential assists, and that one's not as much. It's not as good. 10 is not as good. And then we kind of go back to the previous team. But I should say the actual bet, which I always forget to do. It's Devin Booker over 7.5 assists. I got this at minus 115. You can still get it at minus 120. I would still take it there. And then I also took Devin Booker 10 plus assists, which I got at plus 280 odds at bet 365, and I put a half unit on that. So at the end of the video, there's going to be a screenshot of the full card of bets that I have. So if you miss something, you can go back and watch it. Excuse me. But we're looking at Devin Booker over 7.5 assists for 1 unit, minus 120 odds at DraftKings. And then Devin Booker 10 plus assists for a half unit, plus 280 odds at Bet365. So I talked about his recent hit rate and why we're comfortable with it. The second part of this is the matchup. The Utah Jazz are absolutely a team you want to target for point guard assist props. There's a website here called #basketball, which not the best name in the world, but you can look at like defensive rankings, right? Calculates the average statistics allowed by each team by position based on 48 minutes of playing time. So we want to go to point guards because that's what Devin Booker is playing for the Suns now, and look at teams that are allowing the most assists. This is over the last 30 days, as you can see right here. Utah Jazz are number 1. They're allowing literally the most assists per game to point guards in the entire NBA over the last month. And you want to kind of look at some examples. Look at this. Players with similar assist profile to Devin Booker. Look how they've performed against the Jazz. 9 of 11 have hit this this entire season. And what's this, 6 straight since December, right? Starting on December 3rd, SGA, De'Aaron Fox. So Devin Booker last game had 8 assists against them. Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Tyrese Maxey. All 8 straight have hit their assist prop over against the Jazz. And only 2 of them have even hooked the over. Maxey had 6 on an over-under of 5.5. SGA had 7 on an over-under of 6.5. More often than not, they're going over by multiple assists, including Devin Booker, who had 8 on an over-under of 6.5. So it's a great matchup against the Jazz. The couple reasons why the Jazz are really, really bad regarding catch and shoot 3-point props. So if you look at like catch and shoot 3-pointers allowed, the Jazz are among the worst in the entire NBA. So that's why they're such a good matchup for point guard assist props, because they give up so many catch and shoot 3-pointers, and those are all assisted plays. So that's play number 2, Devin Booker assist prop. We're actually sticking on the same team, and we're going Mason Plumlee. And this is our second ladder play. So I took him over 7.5 rebounds. I was able to get it at minus 120 odds. You see 5 sportsbooks here have it at minus 120. BetMGM, Bet365, BetRivers, Ladbrokes, if you use that. Sportsbet, if you use that. So this is a 1-unit play. Mason Plumlee over 7.5 rebounds. And then I also took a ladder play on him as well. Actually, no. You can get him at minus 115 at FanDuel. Excuse me, I forgot about that. So I would check. Unfortunately, Props Madness can't pull up FanDuel. So I would go check your FanDuel account, because I'm pretty sure you can get it at minus 115. If not, I would still take it at minus 120, which is available right now. And then this is my second ladder play. I also took him 10 plus, which is best offered at plus 200 odds at Bet365. So similar to the increase in assists for Devin Booker because of the lineup changes, has also led to the increase in rebounds for Mason Plumlee. We can see he's hit it in 2 straight games, 10 rebounds on 14 rebound chances, 21 rebound chances in this one. But the most important thing here are the minutes. We see 20 minutes, 22 minutes, and then back down to 13, 20, 27, 26, 18, around 20. He's been playing more minutes, which obviously leads to more rebounds. And if we just look at games in which he's played at least 20 minutes, because that's kind of what I'm expecting in this one, he's gone over 7.5 in 12 of 14 games, and he's hit the 10 plus number in 8 of 14 games, averaging about 9.6 rebounds per game. So I think he's going to get the 20 minutes because that's how the new rotation has worked out for the Suns. Even if we lower this to, like, let's call it 15 minutes, which I think he's going to play more than that. The 10 plus number is not as good of a hit rate, but the 7.5 number is still 60% of the time. So still good for our mainline play. It's a good matchup against the Jazz. I mean, as we can see, 3 players similar to Mason Plumlee have hit the rebound prop over. Goga Bataza had 11, Mason Plumlee, and that's important. We're going to talk about that, went over, and Trace Jackson Davis did it as well. And we look at the head-to-head matchup against the Utah Jazz this year. Played them twice, 14 rebounds on 24 rebound chances. That's a perfect number for only needing to get 8 or 10 rebounds. And then the next game, the rebound chances weren't quite there. I mean, 10 rebound chances and 9 rebounds. That's not what we like. Look at the minutes played. He played 10 minutes in this game. So even if he only plays 10 minutes, he can get 8, 9 rebounds. And the game in which he played 26 minutes, he got 14. So it's a good matchup. It's a good not really fade of recent results. It's a good play on the matchup and the play on his new role with the team. So Mason Plumlee over 7.5 and 10 plus assists is absolutely a play. And then the last 2 plays that I have. So the next one is Jalen Duren. I'm actually taking him double-double. Now, unfortunately, we don't have, Props Madness doesn't have odds for double-double. It's plus 145 odds at FanDuel. That's what I'm taking, Jalen Duren, double-double. It's honestly a really good matchup for both his points and his rebounds, which is why I'm taking a double-double. He scored 9.5 points in 55% of the games. That doesn't sound amazing. It's all about the matchup. The Raptors have been getting smoked by centers recently. So I'm looking at centers. I'm looking at over the last 30 days. They're allowing the 5th most points per game to centers, and they are allowing the 5th most rebounds per game to centers as well. And if we look at like players similar to Jalen Duren, 7 of 9 this entire season have hit their point prop over by an average of 2.28 points over what their average is. And Jalen Duren, his over-under is 10.5. We're only asking him to get to 10 points. So he can even go under what his over-under is, granted by a point, but still go under and hit his point prop. And you want to know why? they stink at rebounding, which also helps Jalen Duren. The Raptors are giving up the 5th most points per game off of putbacks. So he gets an offensive rebound and he puts it back. It is amazing for a double-double. And as we can see, Jalen Duren played the Raptors earlier this year. His over-under points was actually 11.5. He had 12. So he went over, and it was a higher over-under. Another reason to like Jalen Duren for his points is the Raptors are the 3rd worst defense guarding the restricted area in the entire NBA. That's where 87% of his points come from. Literally 87%. So if we look at games where you can filter by teams versus, that's what the PT, defensive play type, DSZ, defensive shot zone. If we look at games where Duren has played bottom 10, and both of those, well, this actually, let's just pause here. What we're looking at right now is teams that are in the bottom 10 of guarding the shot zone of the player. So teams that are bottom 10 at guarding the restricted area. He scored over 9.5 points in 9 of 13 games, averaging over 10 points per game. And one of these games, I mean, if we look at, like, he played 11 minutes in this one. He played 13 minutes in this one. So if we even take the minutes to 15, which is pretty low, it's 9 of 11 games, averaging almost 12 points per game. And you want to add in teams, let's take out the minutes filter, teams that are also bottom 10 at guarding putbacks. 6 of 7 games. Only game he missed was one against the Lakers, just a tough game, averaging 12 points per game. So all that stuff is very, very good. Now, the risk with Jalen Duren and why you see games where he plays 13 minutes, why he plays, if we look at games where he's played 20 minutes, it's foul trouble. It's teams that can get him into foul trouble. Well, I looked into this. The Raptors attempt the 6th fewest free throws over the last 10 games. The Raptors do not get you to the line. Jakob Poeltl doesn't draw fouls. Quickly, Barrett, Scotty Barnes, they don't draw fouls. So the points perspective is very, very good for Jalen Duren. Now his rebounds prop, his over-under is 9.5. Now he's only hit this, or excuse me, his rebound prop is 10.5. But I'm putting it at 9.5 because we only need him to get to 10 rebounds. Now he's only hit this in 11 of 24 games. This is where the matchup is incredibly important for Jalen Duren. If he doesn't get in foul trouble, he collects a lot of rebounds. We look at the last 15 games, his rebounds go, or excuse me, I said that wrong. We look at games in which he's played 15 minutes, which is low. He's going to play more than that. He's averaged about 10 rebounds per game, just under that. We look at games in which he's played 20 minutes, even higher. Now, obviously, more minutes equals more rebounds, but it's a very, very good matchup. We look at the same thing here. Players with a similar rebounding profile to Jalen Duren, which is just big centers. 9 of 15 have hit their rebound prop, but it's, 6 of the last 7, 7 of the last 8, something like that. Mobley, Duren, so that's important. Bam did it 3 times in a row, 10, 20, 16 rebounds. The only one that missed was Vooch, and then Claxton and Mobley. So it's kind of a recent thing for the Raptors. Again, they've given up the 5th most rebounds per game to centers over the last 30 days. And that shows here when you look at how centers have performed. And the most important thing here, so I looked at the minutes filter, I looked at all that stuff. It's really about the fouls. If Jalen Duren doesn't get in foul trouble, he plays more minutes and he collects rebounds. So Duren, double-double, that is our 4th play. Again, the play is Jalen Duren double-double, plus 145 odds at that's at FanDuel, plus 145 at FanDuel. And I know I'm going long here. I love talking bangers. The last play is in this Heat Blazers game. It's actually another double-double prop. It's DeAndre Ayton double-double. This one is at plus 135 odds at DraftKings. So the Heat is actually a better matchup for his rebound prop than his point prop, but Duren also scores more, or excuse me, Ayton scores more than Duren. Like if we go look at the filter and have it be at 9.5, he's done that in almost 80% of his he's done that in over 80% of his games. 23 of 28 games, he scored at least 10 points. And the matchup against the Heat isn't terrifying, right? Pick and roll man is how he scores the majority of his points. Average. Now, we don't have any defensive data off of cuts, so we don't know that, but putbacks, average. Transition, I mean, Ayton doesn't run the floor a ton, but when he does, sure, the Heat are a good transition defense. But none of these show that they're like the worst matchup in the world. And I even looked into this. Let's just look at teams that are bottom half matchup for DeAndre Ayton. He scored 10 points in 12 of those 14 games. So the matchup play here is not on his points. The matchup play here is on his rebounds. I just wanted to highlight why I'm not scared off of the points. As for rebounds, the Heat are a great matchup for his rebound prop. We go back to hashtag NBA. let's look at teams, or excuse me, let's look at the Heat. They've allowed the third most rebounds per game to centers over the last month. And you look at players similar to DeAndre Ayton, it starts to make sense. 8 of the last 12 have hit their rebound prop over against the Heat. Now, Clint Capella missed, Jakob Poeltl, Jared Allen, and Jakob Poeltl again missed. But then we see Walker Kessler in 2 games against the Heat, 15, 16 rebounds. Şengün, 18 rebounds. Hartenstein, 18 rebounds. And then Poeltl just went over. And then earlier in the year, Gafford had 8. Rudy Gobert had 13. Nick Richards had 12. Centers have been getting a lot of rebounds against the Heat. And it's because of Bam Adebayo, right? Bam is not a center that's going to stretch you out. He's going to stay close to the basket, which means that centers are also close to the basket, able to grab rebounds. And as we can see here, the Heat allow the 4th most rebounds just in general, right? The Heat don't get a lot of offensive rebounds. So teams average 4th most rebounds against them. If we look at DeAndre Ayton, let's see how he's performed against teams that are bottom 10 at allowing rebounds. He's gone over in 7 of 9 games, allowing 11 rebounds, or excuse me, collecting 11 rebounds per game. So DeAndre Ayton, double-double, plus 135 odds at DraftKings. I absolutely love. And that's all we got. I appreciate everybody for watching. I know this one went long, over 20 minutes, but again, it's not my fault. When I start talking bangers, I can't help myself. But 5 plays for you guys to lock in is Devin Booker over 7.5 and 10+ assists. Mason Plumlee over 7.5 and 10+ rebounds. Jalen Green, 25+ points. And then I'm taking double-doubles for both Jalen Duren and DeAndre Ayton. I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to comment. Make sure to subscribe. Check out the links in the description of the video. If you want to support the channel, I have a link to Props Madness. I have a link to my Dub Club, where I send all my bets out for only $5 a month. If you have interest in any of that stuff, let me know. Again, appreciate you guys for watching, and have a good one.